Hello everyone. In this video I'm going to go over the high class consonants in the Thai language. We'll talk about what sounds they make, what their names are, how to write them, and also the tone rules associated with them. Hopefully we'll get an idea of how they're different from the middle class consonants and low class, and we'll be able to understand how we will read them when we encounter them in reading. So first of all, if you look at our first letter here, this is Kha Khai. As I mentioned in the middle class consonants video, when we say the name of the letter, we say two things. First, we say Kha, and second, we say Khai. And the reason for that is the first word is how to pronounce that consonant. So you pronounce that as like a K that's guttural in the back of your throat. Kha, Kha. And then the second word will always represent a noun or an object that is representative of that consonant. For example, like if it was English, A, apple, B, boy, C, cat, like that. That's how these association work. If you're going to spell or talk with people to identify the letters, you'll need to call them by their names. But as was mentioned in the last video, the purpose of it really helps native speakers who can already speak the language. But should you learn it, if you're a non-native speaker, you're maybe a native English speaker, it might make things go a bit slower to try to learn them right off the bat. The kai, the word that comes second. It might be better to start off by focusing on what sounds they make and afterwards try to remember them, because the associations don't really help if you don't know the Thai words either. But let's not get stuck on that too much. You may notice something right off the bat about the high consonants, and that's that when we say Kha, Khai, the first one, well, the middle consonants, they were just a flat tone, like Ga, Gai. And yet when we say this one, it's actually a rising tone. Sorry, I can get my eraser there. Where are we at here? Yeah, when we say this one, Kha, Kha, it's actually a rising tone. So it doesn't have any kind of a tone mark, and yet it's a rising tone. Once we get to the very end of this video, we'll discuss why that is. And this is another reason it's helpful to put these together into classes. But pay attention that each of these words are going to start with a rising tone, even though there's no tone marks. And then of course the second one is Khai, which means egg. So how do we write that? Well, if you look at this little guy right here, we're going to start as we usually start with the head. We start with that circle there, we go around, we go down, and then it's important that this comes straight up. We don't want it to have any kind of a jut because that's a different letter. So straight up like that. Okay. The next letter we go to is Ta Tan. Ta Tan. That's like a foundation. It's not super important that you learn the meanings, but just for the reference. So it makes a T sound. And again, you'll notice that it is a rising. Ta, Ta, Tan, Ta, Tan. Okay, so it can be a bit difficult to write it when you're writing it small, but as you see from the bigger picture here, we start first of all with the head, just as we do before. Go down, come around, and give it a little hat like that. Then we start with the second circle down here. Go up, down, and then make a loop. Okay, we'll do it on the bigger one just so you can see here. Again, we go starting from that circle, go up, give it a hat, and then after we're done with that, we start down to the second circle, go up, down, and then give it a loop, just like that. Hopefully you can see that a bit better. Okay, so the next letter in the list there is Chaching. Chaching. It's kind of like a CH sound. Ching, ching is the second word is a low tone, and it represents a bell, a type of hand bell that you ding together. So we would start by, I'm just going to do it on the bigger ones because I think it's easier to see maybe on a mobile phone as well. But in this case, we start with this circle right here. We go down, we go around, and go like that. Okay? So again, ching. That's all of these are rising tones. We go down a little bit, and we have tung. For this one, same thing, start at the circle. It's just like a goggai. So you'll see that it looks very similar to a goggai, and it looks similar to another letter we'll discuss later. But the difference, and this is important, is that inside circle. The inside circle. It's like a little foot on the inside. And that's going to be tung. And remember, it's when you say it without a tone or by itself, just like this, with tung, and instead of aw together, or the vowel aw, then it's pronounced ta, rising. Okay? We go down, and this one is pronounced paw pung. Paw pung. If you're not familiar with the vowels yet, the vowel is something that's you don't encounter in English very often, but it's not difficult. You just kind of grit your teeth together, smile like you're disgusted, and go so pung. Make a funny face there, but that's how you pronounce the sound. Okay, so this one again is easy to confuse. There's a number of letters. In fact, I'll write them together so you could see. But first of all, just as all the other ones, we start at the circle, go down, and go level with it. We go at the same level, okay? And this is there's a reason for that. There's also this letter that looks identical, except for it goes up like that, and that's a F sound with a rising tone. And then there's this. You see it's the exact same level. It's identical except for the circle is on the outside. This is also a P sound, but it's in the low class consonants. And then, sadly, there is another letter that's almost identical, but again, the circle is on the outside in this case, and it represents an F too. So if it's easier to remember if you tend to get these confused, you can remember that the short ones are P's, the tall ones are F's, and then the ones with the circle on the outside are low class consonant, ones with the circle on the inside are high class consonants. So this is how we can separate them out. Now you probably won't remember all that just by hearing it right now, but if you were to put flashcards together or something along those lines to practice repeating and to practice memorizing it, this would be a helpful way of separating them out. So again, the ones with the tall tails are F's, low even tails are P's, circle on the outside low class consonant, circle on the inside like this one is going to be high class consonant. Okay, let's go to the one we just talked about. This is fa, 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 fa. Both of them are rising. To draw it, we start with the circle. You'll pretty much always start with a circle. And then what's important is that we go above the circle. We make it higher like that. Okay, so again, tall tail means F. Fa, fa. Okay. Now here we have 3 letters. All of them make the identical, exact same sound. They have a different name. They're used in different words, but they make the exact same identical sound. They're in the exact same identical consonant class. But it is important to remember them as they're all used. So we'll start with this one, is saw, sa, la, saw, sa, la. So that means that it's a rising, and flat. Sa, la. Okay. We start with the circle, go down, all the way around, and then afterwards we just add this little tail there. Okay, that's saw, sa, la. Okay, the next one is saw, ru, si, saw, ru, si, saw, ru, si. So that's rising, flat, rising. We start with this circle here, go down. It's just like ball by Maya in the middle class consonants. And then afterwards, we add this little loop like that. Okay? And that is also an S. They all make the identical sound to English, the S sound. And then finally, probably one of the most common of the S's is saw, sua, saw, sua. This, you can't see it very well, but this, here I'll write it out. This vowel here is actually, it looks like this, like a little screaming man, and then it has two points that come up off of it. That is the vowel that we talked about a minute ago. So that vowel, you grit your teeth, smile, act like, make it sound like you're disgusted. But when we have, and we're not going over vowels, but I want, as we learn the as we learn the consonants have names. It's good to get into the habit of pronouncing them correctly. So that's why I'm going over this a little bit. So this becomes a vowel that is a combined vowel, and it's pronounced ah. So it's like a and then like that. Okay, so and then since it's rising, it would be saw, sua, saw, sua. Same thing, we start with the circle to draw it. We go down, back up. Oops, that's awful. Let's try that again. Go down, back up, and then add that little tail there. That's saw, sua. And finally, we have haw, heap, haw, heap, haw, heap. So rising and then a low tone. We draw it like this, starting with the circle on the left, go down, do this roller coaster loop, and then come back down to the bottom. Okay? Now, haw heap is a special consonant. It's used for a number of things. It's used to make the H sound, so like a H in English. Okay? But in addition to that, it is used as a silent consonant that serves one purpose, and that is to conduct the tone. It's called a tone conductor. And what that means is it is used to change the tone rules of another consonant. So what does that mean? Well, I've gotten ahead of myself a little bit, but let's just go down and go over these tone rules, and then we'll see an example of how, at the end, of how haw heap conducts a tone. So as we go through in the middle consonants video, I had this little line of different examples of drills, so to speak, to see how the tones are different in each letter. So high class consonants, when they have a long vowel and they don't have any consonant mark, they will always be rising. Saw, saw, so they are inherently rising in and of themselves. Now, if you have a short vowel, then they become a low tone. So this is the a consonant, a. It's like a short a, a. So this we would pronounce sa, sa, low. Then with the my egg, this little line, it's going to be low tone, saw, saw. Okay? When a high class consonant like this saw, sua has a my toe, then it is going to be a falling tone. Saw, saw. Okay, so let's go back to talking about haw heap. How does it conduct the tone? So if you've looked at the middle consonants video, you'll see that gaw and aw by themselves are a flat tone. Gaw, gaw. We could use mai chatawa, this tone mark, to make it a rising tone, gaw. But something you'll find that's more common is haw heap is used as a tone conductor. So when it's placed before a consonant like gawkai, like this becomes silent, not pronounced, but it changes the tone. So this becomes gaw, gaw. So it's a tone conductor. You use this with any number of, let me draw a better looking ha heap there. We can use this with any number of consonants and vowels. So this is Chaching, this is the consonant or the vowel a. Without the ha heap, it would be pronounced ja. But now that we've added ha heap is, it's not ha ja, it's ja, ja, a rising tone. So there we see we have all of the high class consonants, how they're pronounced. Just a quick review, this is a guttural K, kho khai. This is a T sound, ta tan. This is a CH sound, Chaching. This is another T sound, ta tung. This is a P sound, pa pung, pa pung. This is an F sound, fa fa. That's not an F, that's an F, okay. As a reminder, the short W looking characters are pronounced as P's. The ones with the taller tail on the right hand side here are pronounced as F's. Then we have 3 S's in a row, saw, sa, la, saw, ru, si, and finally saw, sua. Okay, and then lastly we have ha heap being both a consonant and a tone conductor, a silent tone conductor that changes the tone rules for whatever consonant it's connected with. So that's a summary of the high class consonants and the rules that go along with them and their pronunciation. I really hope that this is helpful to you in learning Thai.